5:31, we're going to open up this meeting. The town of Diamond Valley acknowledges and pays tribute to the traditional territories of the people of Treaty 7, which include the Blackfoot Confederacy, comprised of the Siksika, Kainai, and Kainai First Nations, the Deniah First Nations, and the Stoney Dakota, including the Chiniki, Bearspaw, and Stoney First Nations, and the people of the Métis Region and Métis Nation, Alberta, and all those residents of Diamond Valley and surrounding communities who make Treaty 7 land their home. All right, we have a consent agenda here. Can we get a motion on that, babe? 2.1, Hazel? Anybody want to remove anything, slide it off to the regular meeting from that consent agenda? So you have the RCMP quarterly report, West Winds Financial. You have Sheep River Library top and bottom year review and end review, Memorial Pool Project, the MDP What We Heard report, which is going to be part of our further discussion later, quarterly CAO report. That's about it. Anything? Okay.
Kind of one library office and one question.
Okay. 2-1D, 1 or 2? 2. Okay, financial. Sure. All right. Excellent. So we're going to move that over to 9.2. That'll be fine. 9.2. Library financials. Excellent. All right. So Hazel made the motion as amended.
Yes.
Thank you. All in favor? Perfect. Thank you. We will now have a closed session. So, oh, sorry. Yes. Regular agenda.
Yeah.
I always forget that. As amended. Yeah. There you go. Yeah. 2.2.
Yeah.
All in favor? Thank you. That's carried. Let's go on closed. Section of FOIP 31, 32, 1.
Yeah.
8. Yeah. Oh, you mean I gotta go and learn a whole new acronym
I know, me too.
just to do
I used to say.
a TIA? All right, anyway, there it is. All in favor? Thank you. Of August 20th, 2025 at 6:05. We started today's meeting at 5:31. We went into a closed session under the ATI Act again. So what is that now? It's the Access to Information Act. Exactly. Section 31 and 32(1). We had a discussion. And we have a motion arising from that. And so Councillor Gordon, if you would be so kind, I believe we are going to put it on board here.
Yeah, we can talk about it. Yeah, right.
Yep.
So a bit of a background here, as far as our discussion was concerned, we are working with Far Brewery to ensure, at least to make it a path forward for him to get some development happening. And so council is directing administration to enter into a discussion with Brewery Fire Incorporated to clarify the definition of development, which is found in section 0.17 of the existing contract, and to discuss options for assignment of the purchase and sale agreement. And so this does ensure that the current purchase agreement is adhered to, and that does protect the town and its interests moving forward, while also working with the Brewery Fire to move forward with any development that they're proposing.
Excellent. Well said. Well put. Any further comments or discussion? I think you wrapped that up perfectly. All right. All in favor? That is carried. Thank you. All right. We are moving on to question period. Question period is a 15-minute section of the council meeting dedicated to the public to ask questions of council or administration, points of clarity, general interest, anything you want. You can phone, text, email, catch us at a coffee shop, drop in to see administration. Have we received any questions for question period? Acting CAO Carrie.
No, we have not, Mayor Crane.
All right, thank you. Adam, our regular CAO, is away, and Carrie is our head planner. And so welcome to the chair tonight. All right, having no questions, we will move on to the agenda. No motions arising. Statutory hearing. So we do have a public hearing bylaw 2025-117, road closure portion of Third Ave Northwest on the BD side of Diamond Valley. So here we go. This review. I hereby declare the public hearing for bylaw 2025-117 road closure portion of Third Avenue Northwest open at 6:07. Public hearings are held pursuant to section 216.4 of the Municipal Government Act. I hear representations from the public on the proposed bylaw. I am Mayor Barrett Crane. I will be the chair of this public hearing. All discussions or questions, whether by council members, administration, or speakers, must be directed through myself as the chair. This hearing will be carried out in an orderly fashion, so please respect the views of everyone here and allow each person their time to speak without interruption. Each person wishing to speak will be given up to 5 minutes to make a presentation to council. Following each presentation, council may have questions, so if you're sitting in the chair here, don't just get up and run. We might ask questions of clarity. Council will not debate this matter during the hearing. The decision regarding whether to grant the bylaw further readings will be dealt with further in the agenda or at a subsequent meeting if deemed necessary. Ms. Sforza, can you please confirm that notification for the public hearing was provided in accordance with the Municipal Government Act?
Yes.
Thank you. Can you also at this time provide the staff report and explain the purpose of the proposed bylaw? Council, if you do have any questions for clarification, just raise your hand, I'll get to you, and we can move smoothly through that. So, Carrie, I give the floor to you.
Thank you. The proposal of the bylaw in front of you being bylaw 2025-117 is to close the public travel approximately 0.7 acres of a portion of Third Avenue Northwest under the road closure bylaw. The portion of road is likely to be undeveloped as road due to escarpment that is about halfway down the road. It's heavily treed and yeah, probably just isn't ever going to be utilized as road. The landowner in the north of the sketch there has come forward with a desire to purchase and consolidate a portion of the closed road. And in discussions with civic operations and other stakeholders, it was deemed that a 6-meter public utility lot be retained along the south, the north be subdivided off with the potential for consolidation to the property on the north, which would also facilitate access to that parcel, which it does not have physical access to that site except through the undeveloped road right of way, which if they were wanting to develop their site, they would need to develop a public road to a town standard in that road right of way to accommodate one house. So the proposal was actually brought forward to the applicant by administration as an alternative to building that a couple hundred meters of public road that the town would then have to maintain and replace in perpetuity. The proposed portion of the road to be closed is not identified as a flood risk according to the updated 2025 updated flood hazard mapping. It has a 6-meter elevation change. Again, that's the escarpment I was discussing. There are no known oil or gas facilities, and there is the wastewater treatment plant that will not affect development of a house. I've included the contour lines and flood mapping in the, well, Denise did in the report there. So the light pink shading is the flood fringe, dark is the floodway, and then you can see the contour lines that bisect where that escarpment is. There are 2 sets of steps and a retaining wall developed in the escarpment through a portion of that undeveloped road allowance. And those will likely be removed with further development. There's also a plan for trails that once was developed that goes through there. However, there's some uncertainty whether it would be viable to continue having a path, again, with that escarpment and what infrastructure might need to be put in place to better facilitate that connection. Because what is currently built in there is not probably the best from a public safety perspective and will be reviewed by our park staff moving forward. Section 22 of the Municipal Government Act addresses road closures. Before giving second reading to close a road, we must hold a public hearing. And then the whole package gets sent to the minister for approval. There aren't really many concerns from administration's perspective. It was circulated. None of our agencies had concerns. And it was circulated to adjacent property owners. One letter of objection was received, which represented 7 persons on 6 directly adjacent parcels. A copy of the letter has been attached. The main comments in the letter were a loss of cherished green space, residents squeezed between 2 laneways, a house built 6 meters from the current property displayed the 2-acre parcels, obliteration of existing view, depreciation of property values, adjacent property owners report being told the town would never allow development. Responses have been provided in the staff report. If council has any questions regarding any of those, would love to discuss further. The landowner also submitted a letter in support of their development to the property on the north, that the consolidation would facilitate that access to. So the comments were that they're interested in the consolidation. They did do a property appraisal at their own expense. The additional land will provide a safe and minimal traffic access and egress from the parcel. Additional land will facilitate a cost-effective connection to town services. It avoids building a town road to town specs, maintaining that through the life cycle. The development permit submitted complies. They did their geotech and all of the things that they're supposed to do for the development of the house, which is separate but related to this. And the road closure and purchase allows a path to approve the development permit. So the bylaw before council today is for the road closure bylaw, but is a large part of the larger suite of bylaws and approvals. So the road closure bylaw, then a subdivision, then a sale, then a consolidation, then a redesignation, and then a development permit. So the applicant has been very patient to this point, moving this process forward and working with us towards a solution that potentially works for both him and the town. The current MDP requires the land to the north to be designated as direct control. However, it's anticipated that a standard designation can be applied after adoption of the new MDP. Again, a reminder that this is just a public hearing and that council may not give second reading at this time until we have the ministerial approval. There's also some lovely commentary there on the timing of the public hearing and the election, if you shall have questions about that moving forward. And that all of the stuff that I told you with regards to Colts Crossing about only having 1 public hearing, that's under part 17. This is not under part 17. So should it be deemed necessary after election to hold a second public hearing, that is actually an option available. We did get 1 letter submitted after the deadline. And I believe, did you want me to read that? Did you want?
That's gonna be the next portion.
Okay. So I will note that 1 letter was received after agenda publication.
Thank you. Any questions? Hazel, go ahead.
Thank you, Carrie, for the brief on this bylaw. I guess I just have some questions in regards to the surplus lands. So the surplus land is at 150 3rd Avenue Northwest. It's a parcel of about 2 acres, pardon me. So why was this deemed surplus land now. Because I thought we were still in the process of compiling our inventory of surplus lands.
So at this point in time, the bylaw before you is just to close the road. After the road is closed, then it would be deemed surplus.
So then it would go to open market, is that correct?
There is an option under the sale of surplus lands policy that allows direct sale to an adjacent landowner where they are deemed to be the only benefiting party.
But then it's a 2 acre parcel. So you have one parcel that's like a little farm. It's 210, I believe, if you can pull up the GIS.
So at this point, the proposal is to close the road portion. Do you have the actual bylaw over? Oh, yes, it's separate attachments. Thanks, Sharon. No problem. We're just gonna pull up a better drawing here. Okay, so in this, block 2 is town-owned land.
Yes.
Area A is proposed to be consolidated with block 2. It may or may not come up on the list to be deemed surplus. We're looking through some options on that currently. Block 3 is the landowner that we've been working with to try and get access to his site. Area B would be subdivided, deemed as surplus, sold and consolidated
Is
to
that the
facilitate
encroachment?
access.
Is that like the encroachment there or the
So,
embankment?
so yeah, so the escarpment kind of goes along the diagonal.
Right. So block 2, is that's that 2 acres parcel of land.
Yes, and we're not dealing with that in this bylaw.
You're just gonna deal with block 2 and area B, is that correct?
We're dealing with the bold lined areas, so areas A, B, and C. That area in its totality constitutes the road closure portion. Then the further proposal, which would come after this bylaw, would be a subdivision to create areas A, B, and C. And then subsequent to that, a consolidation of area A with block 2, area B with block 3, area C would be left as a public utility lot. Area B would be sold to the owner of block 3 under the current direct sale portion of the surplus lands policy.
But so it would never go to market, so it would never be really totally transparent.
The intention at this point is to not put it to market, again, because in the subdivision of block 3, they don't have physical access.
We can't.
So the physical access at this point is through the road right of way. If we close the road right of way, we have to provide them with physical access in some manner.
So you have 3rd Avenue Northwest leads into that block 2, right?
Correct. It is currently an undeveloped road allowance.
Yeah. Like it's just
So
fenced off.
the other option would be that the owner of block 2 be required to develop 3rd Avenue to a municipal standard and then have a driveway come off of 3rd Avenue.
You couldn't come off Government Road.
No, so where their southeast corner, in the map there, that's where the path down to the river starts. So that is a pretty good screaming downhill, and it's not actually a road, it's just a path.
Right, right. I'm just really concerned about somebody buying that block 2 without it going to public market.
Yes, and we have no intention at this point of doing a direct sale block 2.
Block 2 is an undertaking,
Correct.
so it's the road closure.
Yeah,
Now, I'm gonna go to Cindy first. We'll come back to you, Hazel. We'll gather your thoughts. Cindy, you go ahead.
Yeah, I'm just wondering why such a big area B and how do you, because driveway's not very big. So why such a big area and how do you determine that the north owner is more deserving than the south owners? Because if we want to talk about highest and best use, maybe them having slightly larger backyards, they could put a secondary suite off the alley. That might be a better land use, better for tax revenue for the towns going forward. Like,
Fantastic question.
how do you decide that one is more deserving than the other? Because to me, looking at it, this looks unfair to determine automatically that the north owner is more deserving.
Yeah.
Because there is a lot you could do with backyard suites or other things in this neighborhood.
So through the mayor, a challenge would be that if we were to retain enough area for a lane, then again, we would have to have somebody develop the lane, maintain in perpetuity the lane. None of the landowners to the south have approached us with proposals to purchase. The landowner to the north has done an appraisal and has approached us with the proposal to purchase. So once it's consolidated and part of their parcel, they will be paying taxes on it. Having gone through this in other municipalities where we are trying to sort out interesting property lines with surplus municipal lands, people typically do not want their property enlarged because then they must pay taxes on it. And in a lot of instances, we do not give municipal land away, they must purchase it at the appraised value.
Follow-ups and
So, yeah, but we had this down in Ocalta and we split it in half. One owner got half and the other owner got the other half. Right? It wasn't so it wasn't one-sided like this.
And if those 4 owners would like to purchase a portion of the lane, then I think we'd be open to moving forward with
So
that.
what is, because my guess is they never came forward because they never thought about it, because I wouldn't have thought to go to the land town and say, I want to buy this, until something like this happens. So what is the minimum that the person to the north needs to get a driveway in? Not what would they would like to have, but what would just get the driveway in off of government?
Yeah, and
Because we have a road allowance to the east, so why aren't we doing something there versus, you know, like, why are we picking this spot and what's the smallest that they would need?
yeah, so a couple considerations there. There's the driveway width, which somewhere in the magnitude of 6 meters-ish, anywhere between 3 and 6 meters. And then you'd want likely a buffer space so that that driveway isn't up against like a fence line, let's say. So there is an opportunity to reduce the area of Area B. And like I said, at this point, none of this is dealing with the subdivision and the sale. It is simply to close the road so that we have options to move forward.
Hazel?
I'm still looking at this area A and block 2.
To off the table. Those are some, you can sell those for $1 million if you want,
Well,
but
you
that'd
have
be another day, right?
Yeah, but surface land too, that should be going, but it's not.
Yeah, there's,
Above the
yeah,
file, you know.
we wanna look at that road in bold. And so I don't wanna get too far into it. We're not supposed to be debating,
Yeah.
right? So my points that I wanna make are gonna be further in the agenda, so I'm gonna hold off on those. Let's continue on with the process, because we are on the edge of getting into debate, and I don't wanna start that. Should have stopped it already, actually. No, it's okay, because there's a lot of questions here. Okay, Ms. Florzone, has the town received any written responses? You already said yes, that are not included in the staff report. I have one right here. If so, I will now read them aloud. You. All right, so the other ones are all in the agenda. Here's the one that we received today. Hello, Barry and Hazel. Unfortunately, I cannot attend the meeting tonight, but there are concerns I have with the proposed change. Denise kept mentioning the town's need for revenue. It is not one more house tax revenue that will make a difference in the budget. Perhaps finishing all the developments already started would make more sense. What will be the zoning of the land, 2 acres plus parcel from selling of 3rd Ave? This farming zoning is not working well in a residential area. We have experienced this in the past with the blue house below the hill. Farms do not belong in town. Why is the land sale not offered to everyone, but only the owner of the 2 acres? Now our street will have an alley feel in the front and an alley feel in the back. Not sure it's a good idea to upset the residents of about 8 houses to please one couple from out of town. We paid our properties a bit more because of the desirable green space behind us. Now our property's value will go down because the proposed change. When everyone is home in our street, 2A Northwest, there's time where we feel unsafe because of the narrow street we have and wonder how a fire truck would come down our street. Now with the proposed change and the house built on the hill, it would make it difficult, probably impossible for the truck to access our houses from the back. I'm also concerned about what will happen to the 3 acres the town owns behind myself. Will the town sell this land to a developer? So again, that's not on the table, but would be nice to know ahead of time so I can sell my house before I lose even more money. Last point, not the most important, but still, to allow a couple from the city to now come in and build on that land, it's very insulting. When Lisa sold it to them, they know they could not build on it. Multiple local residents have inquired about buying this land and build, and everyone has been told no. And now this couple from the city come in, and it looks like the town is bending backwards to do everything for them. Not to mention that Lisa sold them land for less money since the town would not allow anyone to build. I understand it's hard / impossible to please everyone. Thank you for your time. Sincerely, Danielle Gusman. Okay. Heather.
Just have one question. Because we are not going to second, third reading.
Mhm.
Correct, so, yeah.
Yeah.
But then it has to go down for the application first, correct? I just want to clarify that because you said we'll be discussing it later in the meeting.
Yeah.
And we won't be. So just so everybody knows, we won't be discussing it until we get that over the clarification, okay?
Well, we have questions.
Yeah, questions.
Yeah. All right. Okay. Persons addressing council. For the ladies and gentlemen here in the audience. If you wish to speak in favor or against, please come to the center table, state your name and address, indicate if you are speaking on your own behalf, on behalf of another client. That is $5, maybe 10 with the volume. Right? Indicate if you are speaking on your own behalf, on behalf of a client, group, or a group of citizens, i.e. organizations or clubs, and may you state how they are affected by the law. Council may ask questions of the speakers, so please stay at the table and I'll dismiss you when required. Administration, has anyone actually registered to speak either online or in person in favor of the bylaw? Each person wishing to speak has 5 minutes to do so. Burnett says no. Going to the gallery. Is there anyone present in the gallery who wishes to speak in favor of the bylaw? Please come forward, state your name and address, and have your piece. Maybe she's thinking about it. That's cheating. Anyone else? I'll say it again. Anyone in favor of the bylaw, please step forward and state your name and address and have your say. Going once, going twice, sold. If anyone is opposed to this bylaw, please come forward, have a seat, state your name and address, and you may have your say. All right, there you go. There's a little tiny button, you just hit that, that'll turn red and you're good to go.
That mic is disconnected, sir.
Oh, is that?
Yes.
Oh, there you go, use your table, please.
Yeah.
There you go. Yeah. All right,
My
welcome.
name is Nina Catherine Ganko, and I'm actually the new owner starting September 2nd from 103 to A Avenue, just the corner lot. So I purchased that house because of the location and the green space. So my question would be, if the owner from block 3 wants to build a house, are they indicating where they want to build it? And then my next question would be also like, okay, if the city, because I know the area there, has a problem with actually providing a street there, where would they put the street? Because it is a fairly hilly area, it's not easy to get a street in there.
It's not really a question to answer, council. Carrie? Thoughts on location?
Yeah, sure. So
And before you start though, could you point out on here, so there's Government Road, just so everyone's clear, there's Government Road, which is running north-south, which is how I see an actual access. And then there's Third Ave. Now, Third Ave would be a road built from there to there.
Because it is.
So the escarpment runs about here.
Yeah.
Which means that the road that would need to be built to service this development would come off of Government, be built to about here at the top of the escarpment. The escarpment prevents a lot of functional building space on block 3, which is why they come forward with wanting to purchase some access and a bit of land so they can move their house away from the escarpment. So the house would be on the high point here before the trees and the escarpment. Because we can't build on the side.
So it would be, the boundary of the house would be pushed farther south.
That is the proposal, is to push it a few meters further south because they have a proposal to purchase 14.3 meters.
Yeah.
They also, from my understanding, discussions have no interest in being pushed up against these houses because they bought a really big person.
Wouldn't be real difficult. Follow up to that?
I don't know what the regulations are regarding building houses. And then also like, okay, it is a public street, but I mean, they have to also follow their regulations, and would that be fulfilled?
That's a question for another day necessarily, but I'll go to Carrie.
Yes, thank you, Mayor. I think it's prudent to point out that the so-called green space is not green space. It is a road right of way. So should the driveway closure consolidation and a driveway option not be the preferred course of action from council, then the developer will be functionally forced into developing the road right of way to a municipal standard. So you'd see a road that you'd see like through Riverwood from Government to the top of the escarpment.
Question on here first, and you.
So we're talking about a parcel of land that's in the established neighborhood area, TP. It's not flood area, it's all safe and secure. So and he's wanting to build a single family house, but what's to prevent that land being developed into a proper subdivision with housings down below?
Great question. So that speaks to process and council's will. As you pointed out, there is no higher order planning document in place besides the IDP and the MDP to provide that granularity. So what would prevent a landowner from developing their land beyond one dwelling unit in most portions of our town is the land use bylaw. The land use bylaw limits, in most instances, one dwelling unit per site, except in certain circumstances like a suite. Where the density and intensity increases that would require a land use bylaw redesignation, that's a decision of council, whether that would be appropriate at that point in time.
So that
No debate though.
we as town council can say, well, no, and you need to build a proper street because that needs to go into higher density housing instead of a single family lot. That is our.
Yes, through the mayor, there would be the opportunity to say, no, we want Third Ave to actually be developed. Again, because of that escarpment in there, even if it was consolidated with block 3, you'd still have to contend with the engineering on that. And it would likely come forward as more of a comprehensive development proposal where that's the long-term strategy of the landowner is to build it at a density and intensity that would pay back that road infrastructure.
Okay, thank you. Heather.
So it is a road allowance that the town owns, currently not green space, we made that pretty clear. So if the developer of the home wished to move forward with purchasing that and putting in the driveway where you say, is there any way that other than the driveway? Well, it's on a steep escarpment, the rest of the lot, right? That's gonna stay green space, wouldn't it? Stay green space other than the driveway that goes down into their property? That's one question. Or thought. If we have to build that road, it's gonna have to be built up to town standards, so it's gonna be bigger and a lot of money to all of the taxpayers and potentially would destroy what green space might be there, not green space with the escarpment and the trees, etc. That's one thing. And another thing is because if the worry is that it's going to be subdivided into smaller residential lots by a developer, wouldn't that need an ASP?
So in areas that under our current MDP that do not expressly require an ASP prior to development, it would not need any other statutory plan amendment before a subdivision is contemplated. However, it would need appropriate zoning.
Okay.
Okay. Tina.
So my question would be like, this neighbor wrote in that, letter. So when I bought the house, it was told to me like block 3 is farmland. And yes, the street will be sold to the farmland, but it was not discussed that the will build because it's zoned as farmland, right? Did I understand that right?
I think so. You're talking about block 3, which is down below.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
So but he wants to build there, so how can be a farmland all of a sudden be?
you can build on farmland. It's just a process of applications. Question here is area B is up for sale and you build a road and a house up there. That's the difference in this discussion, if that's the end goal. So, but I don't want to debate, I just want to get information right now. So, do you feel you've been?
Yeah.
Good, okay, stick around, lots more. Okay, any further questions? Yeah, you're good. All right, you're here. Is there anyone else in the audience wishing to speak against the bylaw as proposed? If you do, please sit. Say your piece. Going once, twice. That's a good bingo, says Barry. All right, that's off the table. Final questions. Any counselors? Any questions for administration at this time? Again, remember, it's going to be further in the agenda, which is what.
No.
It's not there yet.
Why did I say it?
That's what I said to you.
Okay, ask your questions now. Okay, go ahead.
Yeah, if I may, this is an
Yeah.
unusual one
Final
because the road closure bylaw is different than other planning bylaws that we typically bring to public hearing.
Yep.
The road closure bylaw needs a public hearing closed, then it goes to the minister, then it comes back for second.
Mhm. Okay.
With the problem.
Go ahead, Jonathan, and then Cindy, and then Hazel, and then me.
Yeah.
Cindy?
Talk about lift stations and all that for this area, and I'm trying to look at it more as a whole. As far as a part of town that may or may not be developable. And I'm, the continuation of Third Ave down below into that down below area. Why is there a need for a lift station? Do we not have in that down below area access into sanitary?
Through the mayor, are you discussing future development of like the lower bench below the escarpment?
Well, most of the land is on the lower bench in this property.
Yes, so, the discussions at this point is that the landowner wants a single family home in the southeast corner on the higher portion. And it is zoned ag land, and moving forward, excuse me, the direct control district 12 has been given first reading. It's required to be a direct control district currently under our MDP requirements. And I don't know about a lift station or any more intensive development that would require that kind of municipal infrastructure, because that's not what we've evaluated the pre-app on.
I'm just wondering if we're concerned about highest and best use of lands. It's a larger discussion here.
That's
Yeah.
with a different stage up.
Yeah.
And so if I may, so under the ag district, they do have the ability to build a home. It's just how are they getting access?
Is that the access is the reason, because if you look at property values and the land assessed value, it is very, very low compared to a normal, like our neighbor has 2 acres and this is just under 2 acres, and it's a third of the tax assessed value. Is that because there is no access and there is some merit to the one response that they bought it at a cheap price because it's not buildable?
So I can't speak to the assessed value directly, however, I can speak to some of the constraints on the land. Predominant one is access, so Government Road has a road right of way that goes to the north. So there is a possibility that that gets developed as a road, again, because of physical constraints. I doubt that that's ever gonna happen. Third Ave does have a road right of way designated, again, because of physical constraints. I don't see the town wanting to build that road out. It has the escarpment, and then the lower bench, to my understanding, was previously in the flood. I'm gonna get my vernacular wrong here, floodway. In the floodway, I don't know if it was flood fringe or floodway, sorry, in the flooded areas under the previous mapping. In the updated 2025 mapping, it's largely been removed.
Crazy.
So, and as we, as a town, continue to invest into flood mitigation methods and structures such as berms, we'll see more and more lands within our town boundary hopefully be removed from those flood prone areas.
All right. And I have a question, 2 questions, actually. He says in his letter, that he has, provided a certified land appraisal report reflecting the value range of the south portion based on standard REC approach. I've also required an environmental impact assessment simulating the merging of lot 2 plan blah, blah, blah parcel and the south undeveloped portion, which will be available for you August 15th, 2025. So have we got either of those documents?
Yes, we currently have both of them. They were not attached to this application because this is for the road closure, which doesn't contemplate the subdivision, sale, or development of the land at this point. It's still of the opinion of administration that we move forward with closure to open up possibilities of what to do with that portion of land, since we don't see it moving forward as development of Third Ave.
So my only, bear with me, my only concern there is, as council, I would like to know what that land is valued at, so I can gauge whether or not maybe a road is feasible. So if I'm gonna sell that land and it's gonna sell for 250,000, well, you can do a road for 200,000. Leave it alone, you know what I mean?
We're in deficit.
So, as a developer who buys a piece of property, you have to know what you're buying and you have to understand what constraints to building you have. It is on him. And dare I say, I would even point out what Councillor Holiday started 6 years ago. She knew she was in an uphill battle with where she purchased. No water tie-in, no sewer, septics, wells, environmental impacts, everything that she had to do, but she knew what she was getting into. And so this is the same thing. So I want to look at how much is that land worth? Because Hazel has a very good point. Yes, he came to us and said, well, actually, we went to him and said, rather than build a road, why don't you buy this property? So the town actually initiated, from what I just understood. So why would you then not say, well, if we're gonna sell that land, and I know I'm getting ahead because you have to do the road closure and that's what we're talking about. But those 4 individuals who have property backing onto it would probably want to be purchasers of a larger yard, seeing as they historically, for the last 60 years, have sat there and looked out at a beautiful scene. So on Hazel's point, you go to the public and you say, yeah, now the land's for sale, and maybe landowners say, yes, I would like to actually get in on that. So how much is the land actually worth? Because then it becomes viable for different parties. So I'll go to you on that one.
Yeah, so, thank you for letting me add some commentary onto the process there. If council closes the road, again, does open up options for what happens with that land. It then becomes a titled parcel that the town owns. We can subdivide, sell, not sell, deem surplus, not deem surplus, designate the whole thing as public utility lot. Whatever council's heart so desires at that point in time, it just eliminates it from being a future road,
Yeah.
which again, administration is not in support of developing Third Ave as a municipal road, just because it's a dead end that serves one property.
Well, not only that, it's a cliff face that would not make any sense as road, period, right? So green space, ER, public utility, all those things, right? So very important that the public understands what we're talking about, because if you say, yes, do a road closure, that means we now have a bazillion options.
Correct.
You just listed them all in speed form, which was nice, but it does not mean that we are selling it direct. It does
Correct.
not mean a house is being built right here. There is 4 more stages that would happen before you'd even get to there. And that's if council actually says, yes, that's how this next stage goes.
Correct.
So if I were to say, I want to have the price and I want everyone to know it, and we want to go to, as Hazel suggested, public auction, and Joe Blow the billionaire, Michael Bublé comes in and says, yeah, I want that deal, then he can buy it.
Yes, so at the point that the land is deemed surplus and we go through the purchase of town-owned lands policy and procedure, it's at that point in time that council can decide whether to do the direct sale at the appraised value, at some different value that you deem as appropriate, or go to market. And that's at the direction of council.
That's a ways down the
And
road.
that is months from now.
All right, that sounds good to me. Thank you. All right. Moving
I
on.
have a comment if I may.
Sure, go ahead.
So if you go back to in our package, slide 182, please, or page 182. Gives a kind of good visual.
Yeah, that's the color like shot.
Yeah, it's our GIS shot with the layer of what's there currently. And this is a challenge with, and I feel for Ms. Gunther, who mentioned she bought that property with the green space behind her because of what's there. And it's unfortunate that there wasn't clarity that that's actually a road allowance. Because council could, if we so chose, move and direct administration to actually create a road there. And we could do that tonight. And we could say it's out of reserves. And so we could say from Government Road heading west, that entirety all the way to, what is that road on the west there, the north-south road on the west?
The Second Street.
Second Street. We could actually direct administration to build that road. And that would be a dramatic cost, and it would totally change the properties of those 8 southern road, 8 houses on the south. So I don't want to assume the attitude of those 8 on the south, but I'm pretty sure they don't want a road there.
Yeah.
And so the road allowance is what's before us. The potential to subdivide that road allowance into 3 different sections is the potential. With that, I like the fact that area C is there because that gives them 6 meters, which is better than none if we said develop a road. And so this is always the challenge in our community that we consistently hear from people moving into a new community. Well, we've got this area beside us that's never going to get developed. Well, do your homework. You know, that I hate seeing being that blunt, but there needs to be homework done on the purchaser and the seller about what actually is allowed behind there. Because this is, in the last year, the third time that this has come before where there wasn't an understanding of what actually is that quote unquote green space. So just to put that out there, I wanted that noted.
Yeah, I,
Mhm.
and, yeah, thanks, Jonathan, because, I heard what you said about you were told realtors need to confirm some of these things sometimes because, oh, no, they'll never develop that. That's just not the truth. And different councils will do different things.
Yeah.
And realtors should have said to you that that's a road allowance. And I mean, it could get developed. And it is about the third or fourth time that this has come up where someone said, oh, that's our green space. We don't want to lose it. Well, it's not green space. So it's really unfortunate
It is.
that happens.
Sorry, Nina, the process is you can't talk again. Sorry. But you can talk to us after the meeting, 100%.
100%.
All right. Anything further, Cindy? Come? No. All right. I'll now ask if any person, either online or in person, wishes to address any new information provided at this hearing. Council may also ask any further questions. Does anyone wish to speak in favor or opposing? Now's your time. Oh, okay. All right. Does the applicant, if he is present, wish to address any new information that they have heard? I don't think he's here. Does administration wish to address any new information? All right, final questions, councilors. You may now ask any questions of administration through the chair. Any further relevant information you wish to know? Okay. If council is satisfied that they have obtained sufficient information from this public hearing, I'll ask you, did you? Okay. All right, thank you. I would like to thank all those who spoke or provided submissions for their comments. Council may take all information into consideration when deciding on this matter. I now declare the public hearing for bylaw 2025-117 closed at 6:55.
Thanks.
That's it?
Yep.
Yep. Have to wait for later now.
So just for clarity, nothing was decided there. So from here, what is the exact one step next? What is the next step that happens?
The next step will be that administration combines the appropriate materials into the package for submission to the minister for review and signing.
Minister of Transportation.
Then it comes back and then it's a whole nother ball.
Transportation and economic
It could
corridors.
take a long, yes, they could. Okay, thank you. Good. All right, moving on to the agenda. 8.1, bylaw 2025-123, yep, land use redesignation. Ms. Florzone. Over to you.
Thank you. Bylaw 2025-123 amends the Turner Valley Land Use Bylaw by amending the land use district from urban reserve to urban reserve, single detached residential R1, residential two dwelling district R2, residential multi-unit district R3, and public service PS. The property in question is Royal Light Greens Phase 2. That's how we know it. It proposes a fully residential development. It is within the County Gateways area structure plan and is the southeast corner of Turner Valley, down by the golf course. The bylaw before you is for first reading.
Okay, thank you. Counselor Gordon.
So I will give the motion that council give first reading to bylaw 2025-123 and direct administration to set a public hearing for a later date.
Thank you. Questions? First reading. All in favor? That's carried. Thank you. 8.2, bylaw 2025-122 municipal development plan. Here's the big apple we've been working on for 2 years. The amalgamated MDP. This is first reading. So. Give it to us.
Okay, I'll give it to you. I'm on a roll. Let's move forward. The council give the first reading to bylaw 2025-122 and direct administration to set a public hearing for September 3rd of 2025 during the regular meeting of council.
Thank you. Question? When do you want amendments?
So you can make amendments after first reading. You can make them after second, not after third. You may want to wait until you hear from the public hearing.
Just speak things. Right?
Within
You're
your,
gonna go to public hearing, then you can have your say,
Yeah.
then we can read it. Okay, so there you go. So tonight is just first reading.
Yeah.
That's all.
Public hearing.
that's what we have budget for.
All in favor? All opposed?
Well, we're not supposed to.
That's carried. All right, thank you. 8.3 bylaw 2025-124 access to information bylaw. Vernon, you wanna give us a once over on this one?
I can. It's a very short once over. We were required to have a FOIP bylaw, and now we are required to have an ADI bylaw. So this is it. It doesn't look very different from the old one at all.
Get this. Maybe we could take care of it.
Yeah.
It's in.
My computer's really slow.
I'm gonna give the council give bylaw 2025-124 access to information. Shouldn't it say act bylaw?
This is the access to information bylaw. We do not put the word act in.
Right. Like,
There you go.
first reading. Okay. First reading, all in favor? It's carried. Hazel,
Pardon me?
you want in?
I said, oh, pardon me.
Yeah, second.
Second reading. That council give bylaw 2025-124 second reading.
Thank you. Any questions, concerns? All in favor? Oh, wait,
Back in the
Yes.
day, if somebody filed paper asking for information through the OVC.
Mhm.
If they claimed that they could not afford it, does that still adhere? I thought in the old one,
$25 a shot.
No.
yeah,
I am not aware of any provision for,
they always charge them.
We always charge.
there are sometimes reasons to waive the fee, but yeah, there are sometimes reasons to waive the fee, but I'd have to collect a ton of personal information to determine you can't afford to do your personal information requests.
Okay, okay, okay.
All right, sounds good. Any further comments, questions? All in favor? Thank you.
Council agreed to present bylaw 2025-24 for third reading at this meeting.
Thank you. Any comments, questions, concerns? All in favor? Thank you. That's unanimous. That's required. And Jonathan.
Sure, the council give bylaw 2025-124 access to information bylaw its third and final reading.
Thank you. And last call for alcohol. Any further? That's $20.
Party.
You know what I'm saying? I get pizza next party. Any further concerns, questions? All in favor? Thank you. Heather, opposed?
Have a good night.
See it. 9.1, application to transfer EPEA approval. This is gonna be You just said that, so.
I can give you that. The council authorized Mayor Barry Crane to sign the consent to transfer approval number 11656-02-00 on behalf of the town of Diamond Valley.
Okay, thank you. And this has to do with the West End Regional Sewage Services Commission. So as the commission is required to have two towns in partnership, when we amalgamated, we got special permission from the province to continue to operate our sewage service. And out of the one town, you cannot have a commission if you're only one town, if you don't have a partner. So this is just a matter of process. We finished the upgrade. Now we disestablish, and the operation of the sewage treatment plant just falls into operations, and that's it. So it's just a matter of principle of paperwork. And we will have a grand opening, just so everyone knows, September 17th. A ribbon cutting ceremony for the upgrade, 21 million. 21?
We're not sure where we're.
It's close to 21 million.
Final phase.
The 20, it's close to 21 million. So we will have the ribbon cutting, September 17th. So we'll have some information on that. We have a motion on the floor. That was just to give clarity. All in favor? Thank you, and that's carried. We also pulled 9.2 from the consent agenda. The library financials, and Councillor Holiday had some questions for clarity around the finances of the library, so Councillor Holiday.
I've kept my mic on for who knows how long. I'm sorry.
Oh.
Oh my God. Thanks. I just noted the large amount of reserves that the library has and just wondering what standard amount of reserves for a library and of our size in Alberta and what their plans are to do with these reserves. Because as we know, our tax bill goes up because we transfer money to them. So if they're taking more from the town, therefore residents, than they need on an annual basis, then, and with no clear plans on what to do with it, then I would have an issue with that.
Gave up funds.
Okay.
$17,000 is coming out of reserves for the solar panel. So there is $17,000 coming out of the reserves for the solar panel project. So $100,000 for the solar panel project was collected through CFAP, the Alberta Munis grant, and donations, $20,000 in donations. So the library would be $17,000 for that.
We're talking over 200 though.
There's something with, no, there's no $200,000 sitting there, no Cindy. On that final page, I looked at that as well. They're right down there.
You have on your balance sheet, $229,914 in cash and investments.
Now, is that because you collected the grant monies in preparation for the actual project and then
So
since
the
then?
solar panel project, it's not showing up there.
Okay.
It's not showing there. So the year surplus there is what, $12,000?
This live, may I?
Yes, please.
Yeah, so if you look at revenues versus expenses, the expenses are outweighing the revenues in 2024 by about $12,000 and by just over $14,000 in 2023. So they're actually not collecting enough to cover their expenses,
That doesn't.
the revenue versus expenses.
Yeah, I'm just wondering about why there's so much in cash and investments. 2023, it was 212, 224 is 229,000. I'm just wondering why are they holding so much cash and investments? Is that all, was that grant collected like way earlier and not paid out until 2025?
It wouldn't go like the CFAP grant.
When did you receive the CFAP?
The CFAP grant was probably received in, I believe it was November 2023. And we just got the Alberta Muni, or we haven't received that.
How much was the CFAP grant?
It was actually $48,904.
There's still quite a bit of other money in cash and investments.
Yeah,
Switch won't change.
Mhm.
and there would be also whatever was through their investments. Right?
I'm just wondering if this is a not-for-profit board, if anyone should be collecting investment income off of town taxpayer dollars, it should be the town, not the library, making investment income money.
Where would there, any surplus funds?
It's almost 1,000.
Yeah.
That's my issues.
But I think they're, so the main part would be always be wages, right? Be your biggest line item. So maybe,
This is all balance sheet. That is snapshot in time on December 31st.
yeah,
But yes, there are some timing issues with income and all that, but I still. I'm wondering if they've got money in investments. That means that they're not using it for normal operating income. Like, is there stuff sitting there that they're not using on a regular basis?
no, everything, because we cash in all our GICs and stuff.
And then you roll more.
You're a little more, yeah. So they're sitting in,
Last sitting in investments.
yeah, the last time I was on the board, we had 120,000 in surplus at the end of the year. So I think what Cindy's saying is there's sitting up there, there's 200 and,
But they actually don't
29.
have it in there.
yeah, so.
Right, and maybe I just have a motion to ask for clarity on whether the library board is sitting on a stagnant amount that they're collecting investment income on. I guess I shouldn't say stagnant, that sounds really harsh, but are they,
Surplus.
Yeah,
Surplus.
they have-
In GIC.
yeah,
What makes up the surplus?
yeah, is this a timing issue or not? But it's not if it's carrying over 2023, 2024.
That's a good motion. Let's get some
Yeah,
clarity.
just some clarity on.
Roll up.
Another way.
Yeah, so it's 80,000, my guess is it's 120, that's still sitting there is my guess. Because I have 80,000 in deferred liabilities. So the solar grant, all of that is captured with that. But if you take your cash minus your current liabilities,
It's not even showing up there on the solar panel.
we're not looking at the income statement, we're looking at the balance sheet, sorry.
Hmm.
So you have 229 in cash and investments. If you go down, you have your deferred solar power grants and your accounts payable. Which is all your timing differences of 80 grand. So my guess is there is cash sitting in a bank account somewhere.
750.
Got some clarity would be
Yeah.
great, because
So yeah, not your job as a counselor, but admin's job, I think, if I can make that motion,
Yep.
to have that looked into.
Oh, that's good.
Also, if you just scroll up one more page, I'll point something in.
Up or down, sorry.
Well, yeah, that way,
There.
income statement, yeah. Town of Diamond Valley / Foothills County. If we could have that broken up so it shows
80-60, 80-20.
80/20, perfect. So we should have a note on that, so if anyone's looking it up, they can see the difference. That's okay, good. Motion out, all in favor? That's carried, excellent, thank you. Alrighty, check mark. Administrative inquiries, have we received any administrative inquiries? None. And notice of motion, historic downtown design guidelines, signage, Counselor Gordon, you brought this one forward, so.
I'm just gonna read it since Councillor Kelly's not here. We won't move it forward. As it says, we're moving it to September 3rd. So I'm bringing forward a notice of motion regarding the historic downtown design guidelines, specifically the signage pieces. Whereas bylaw 04-15, so 21-year-old bylaw here, historic downtown design standards prescribe specific signage requirements and provides no variance or exemption process. And whereas said bylaw was amended by bylaw 14-12, expanding the prescribed historic downtown area beyond the downtown core. And whereas it may be more feasible to return to the original historic downtown area rather than provide a variance or exemption process in order to accommodate the needs of the more varied types of businesses found within the expanded area. Therefore, be it resolved that council directs administration to provide a bylaw to rescind bylaw 14-12, returning to the historic downtown area to that originally prescribed by bylaw 04-15.
Excellent, thank you. All in favor?
we don't need to do that, no.
council directs administration.
No, that's why we read it in September 3rd.
Let's move it tonight. We have a quorum.
We haven't gotten information package from administration on implications,
They can bring it in. Let's just get it moving.
unless they're moving in favor of this and want this, but.
And we have to be unanimous in moving
Yeah.
forward.
I would like the information package from council,
Okay,
from.
sounds good.
on-
It's only, it'll be September, so that's easy. It's only 2 weeks, not even. Actually, not even.
I-
Yeah, September 3rd is our next
2
meeting.
Wednesdays from now.
Yeah. Alrighty, sounds good. So there you go. That's moving forward. Check mark that one. We have no further closed items, correct? All right, meeting adjourned at 7:12. Thank you.